So we've sewn the facing in place. Now we need to, the idea is that these seams are actually going to go up in here, but that seam needs to go down and this seam goes up. So we have to clip in at this point here. So just check to see where you have your little step in your collar, and then at that point use that as your guide point to snip through all of these layers, but remember not to cut past the actual stitch line. Okay, so now then when we fold this through, so we've got our corner, we fold this down, and all of these seams here, the back neck seam, the edge of the facing, so the seam allowance of the facing, and the collar goes up into the collar, and you can see that way this seam allowance can go down and these seam allowances go up. And because you've already stitched this in place, we just need to line that finished folded edge up with the stitch line on the neckline to secure the neckline. But before we sew along there, we just have to do the same on the other side. Showing away that excess so you can see where you have to snip in here. And then snip through those layers. And you're certainly better off to snip less than more. Okay, so now we just need to stay stitch this in place. So we can start, so where you already see that row of stitching, that's where we're going to start, where you've snipped in. So put under the foot there, and then do a back tack at that point, lining your finished edge up with the row of stitching in the neckline. And remember, you've got notches as well, so you have the centre back notch you can help use as a guide. And then when we come around here, we're just going to fold this down and we're going to push those seam allowances up into the neckline. And there's a few stray threads there, so you can just poke those inside as well. And you can give this is an instance where you can actually give the underlayer a bit of a pull just to flatten things out. And when you get to the end, do a little back tack. And we're showing you in black so that you can see, but even though there's 2 rows of stitching there, when it's in a better colour match, you won't really see that. And so now just to finish this off, because we don't want the shoulder of the facing flapping around, we need to fold the shoulder down, like the back down, position our facing, and we're just going to flip this over, and using the stitch line of the shoulder as a guide, we're just going to run along that for a little bit, for a couple of centimetres, just to secure the facing onto the shoulder line. So back tack at both ends, clip off your threads, and you'll see that has secured. And so the shoulder seam still goes towards the back, but you've secured that edge there.